Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 220 entitled Switch Surpasses the 3DS. We're going to get into that tonight. We're also going to be talking about a lot of other really big details that are going on in the Nintendo gaming world, but also some smaller headlines. We're going to talk about Nintendo's recent fiscal numbers. We're going to be talking about Astral Chain, Bowser's Fury, about what Reggie has said lately about the Switch in relation to the Wii U and all of Nintendo, and a whole bunch of other things that we're going to get into tonight. But before we do any of that, introduction time. My name is Steve, and I'm so glad that you guys are joining us. And joining me hosting tonight, as always, is Barry. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve, always a pleasure. Glad to be here.
For sure. Glad you're here, too, along with Greg. Hey, Greg, how's it going?
Things are going good. Also glad to be here. It's always fun talking games with you guys.
Absolutely. And speaking of you guys, all you guys join us in the live chat. We love interacting with you throughout the live show. So, number one, if you've never joined us for a live show, please do so. We record on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time, depending on what that is. And then also 5:30 Pacific Time, and all the different time zones in between. You can figure that out. We'd love to have you guys join us live in the chat room and just join in any of the conversation that you want to hop in. You have some thoughts about the news stories that we talk about, what you've been playing, what you're looking forward to playing soon, any of that stuff. We would love to hear that. And we interact with you guys throughout the live chat. So if you could hear us calling out people's names, you're listening after the fact or watching after the fact, who are they talking about? We're talking about the chat room that is joining us in this podcast as well. So it's like us three hosts, but we also have a whole chat room that is helping us do this podcast, and we're so grateful for you guys. If you have not yet joined us on social media, you can just join us. Follow us at NintendoFuse on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We would love to have you guys do that, and also be sure to join our Discord so that you can join in the conversation in between episodes. We absolutely love interacting with you guys in between episodes right there on our Discord. Get to chat about gaming stuff and a whole lot of other things. So that's the best way to kind of connect with our community, our growing community. It's been really cool to see more and more people jump in there and join in the conversation. So before we jump into the news, let's talk about, as always, what we have been playing. And Barry, we'll go to you first tonight. What you been up to? I know it's been tough to pull away from everything that just came out today. So what's been up lately?
Yeah, this week I didn't play as much as I would have liked to, and that's mainly because I ran out of time, in the sense that I don't like to start a game and then not be able to really finish it before the games I'm really looking forward to come out. And today was a big day. But on the Switch, really all I did was do some Animal Crossing with the turn of the month. There are some new special items to get, and a friend of mine needed some help, so I helped them out. So I really didn't do much with Animal Crossing. On the PS5 front, I did finish The Pathless. Really cool game. Just very zen open world exploration game. Touching story, just beautiful, and like the sense of exploration is great. I also did the Bow & Wonder World demo, which I was looking so forward to this game.
I know.
So forward.
There's some regret in your voice, and it's a game that we had all talked about. We were excited about seeing.
Yes, and even if you go back just 2 episodes ago when we came back and we were talking about our predictions and games we were hyped for, I mentioned Bow & Wonder World was one I was hyped for in March, and now I'm not so hyped for it because the demo, it's not good. It is not a good demo. This game needs more polish. There's a lot of things about it, and I wanted to like it. Like I started making excuses for it as I played. Like, oh no, it's fine. No, this would be okay if this was released like, N64, PS1, Saturn era, or maybe early PS2, GameCube, Xbox, Dreamcast, and that's kind of how this feels.
Wow.
I mean, all I can say is I think the music is great. The story is weird. The graphics are okay, but there's just a lot of really weird design decisions. Like we have 80 different characters you can transform into, but each character only has one function. If that function is to attack, that's great, but you can't jump. Forget about it. In a platforming game, nope. If your function is to jump, you can't attack. Have fun with that.
Wait, that sounds a lot like the first version of Link's Awakening that I had an issue with, but someone else thought it was perfectly fine.
Oh no, you could jump and attack at the same time in that game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, maybe
you
not
grip the sword and the roc's feather.
I'm just saying that like there's a lot of other things that you want to do at the same time and you can't. But
you know what? And that was a game that was restricted to the Game Boy with an A and a B button.
Very true.
This is a game that has modern controllers and where all 4 face buttons do the exact same thing. Yes, it's not just like push weird. A to jump. It's A, B, X, Y. They all jump. They all attack. Yeah. I will say this: if you're curious about the game, try the demo. There's a lot of negativity out there about it. There's also some positivity. So don't just go, oh, there's hate, I'm not going to play the demo. Play the demo and make a decision for yourself. I made the decision that I'm not going to be double dipping on this. I'm not going to be getting a PS5 and a Switch version. I'm getting the Switch version just for collector's purpose. And unless they patch the hell out of this and make it great, I'm not touching this game. That's the demo impression. Right. On the PS4 front, I just started, as in an hour before this podcast, Ys 9, which came out today. A game I was so looking forward to, and I'm still looking forward to playing it, and had all day yesterday ready to play it. And then we had a wonderful nor'easter here. Oh, yeah. So bad that they actually shut the mail down, and my package couldn't get delivered.
Oh, no.
So I am exhausted from shoveling all day yesterday, and really annoyed that in between shoveling bouts, I couldn't play Ys 9. So I didn't get as much time with that, but I'm looking forward to doing it this week.
If only you had downloaded it.
I got the collector's edition. I got the good stuff. I wanted all that stuff with it. But actually, even if I downloaded it, guess what? The release date is today. I wouldn't have been able to play it yesterday. If you order from NIS America and get their collector's editions, they actually arrive a day early.
Oh.
So therefore, digital wouldn't have done me any good.
That's true.
Can't say it. So in this case, physical would have beat it out. And other people all across the country are like, I got mine in. I'm like, I hate you all. Stupid weather. On the PC front, still playing 14. 14 also had a big update today. Really big. So I probably, because I was waiting for the mail, and I probably spent the majority of today from being exhausted playing 14. Tons of new content, tons of great people I'm hanging out with. Absolutely love this game. I think this is probably the top tier Final Fantasy titles. And they brought back a Final Fantasy VI character that I absolutely adore in an unexpected way, and it just made me tear up. I love it. On the mobile front, I'm still doing Dragalia Lost. The Persona 5 Strikers event is going on. Great event. The music is there. Persona 5 music is blasting on my phone now. I love it. They did such a good job with this event and the attention to detail, and it's going on for like another 10 days. So, they're progressively adding content. So I look forward to doing that. And again, unlike Greg, I'm still playing Mario Kart Tour, having a blast. This latest tournament has been challenging but fun, and I just really like it.
Cool. Go in the chat real quick. It looks like Jakester's been playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, FE, Genshin Impact, and FGO. Kind of his go-to games. He's also saying face buttons and the triggers as well. All do the same thing apparently. However,
I didn't even try the triggers.
Jesse apparently is a fan of Balan. So I'd love to hear why these things that seem to be pretty much deal breakers here. As I hear this from Barry, how you were able to overcome that, Jesse. I would love to hear how that didn't stop you from hating the game or disliking it at least. Looks like Dave's been playing Judgment, and he's running out of Yakuza games to play on the PS4. So that's they need to release. Isn't there another one coming out soon, or did it just come out?
They're taking Judgment is getting ported to PS5 and Steam and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. And Jesse's also playing Setsuna with the snow. So cool. Greg, what have you been up to? over the last week?
Much more focused playing, I can say, this time around. So like normally I've been having these longer lists of like 9 or 8, 10 games. This one is much lower to 4. So I'm still playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with my daughter. We're having just a lot of fun messing around, and she's really enjoying creating stages, and pretty much creates a new stage every time we play. And it's just a blast, just having lots of fun, just messing around and not really doing anything super competitive. Still playing Animal Crossing. We've been doing a lot more now that she has her copy of the game, so I'm pretty much visiting her island on a daily basis and swapping stuff, giving her stuff that she needs, and helping out, like buying stuff that she still needs to get because she's gotta rebuild up this new house on the new island. She was too impatient to port over her finished house from my island, so it's pretty much just going through like all the newer stuff for her and helping her try to organize and build and all that. She wants to get her a 5-star rating now, and she wants to take all the stuff from the house that came from my island and give it to her new profile. So I've got like a ton of stuff to try to move over.
Nice.
Then finally started getting headstrong into Pikmin 3 Deluxe. So like this last weekend, we went to like a hotel and just to kind of get away just for both my daughter and my wife's birthday. And Pikmin 3 Deluxe was just a lot of fun to have. I mean, I was doing all the missions on mine for a while, and then my daughter wanted it on her Switch, so then I was like replaying, helping her like with playing around with the co-op on hers and helping her finish some of the stuff there. So I think I'm pretty good through the story, and there's not a ton left. I know it's a shorter game, but I'm right around the point that your Louis, who they think is Alamar, just took all their juice, and they got to track him down. So I think it seems like it's getting closer to the end. I'm not quite sure, though.
Nice.
And on mobile, still doing Fire Emblem Heroes, and I'll have a nice lengthy discussion about the Fate channel a little bit later. So there's a lot going on now, and a lot of the stuff has just started up.
Cool. Yeah, I have. But before I jump into that, actually, it seems like Jesse kind of got back and says basically likes the the first video itself. It's really trippy. Likes the classic 3D platformers, and Jakester kind of chimed in and likes the designs and everything. But yeah, the graphics really ruin it. Yeah, it seems like it's got a lot of promise. And I'll eventually try out the demo because why not? It's free. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of promise there. That it's just why not push it further to actually make it a more polished game. So
I think you should play the demo this week, and you could report back next episode how you like it.
I definitely I think I will. Over this last week, I have been playing also very focused games. Pretty much. After the podcast last week, I did what I said I was going to, and I finished Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So finished up the main game there. I haven't 100%ed it. I think I'm probably somewhere around like 75 or 80% of all the collectibles and stuff like that. But it is an emotional game. I'll just say that it's a very emotional game. I don't know if I've ever played a platformer that has this in depth of a story that grabbed me emotionally. So yeah, if you want more, you want some exciting action, adventure, Metroidvania kind of like sort of thing, it's great for that. But if you want to like push it over the top with a great story, highly recommend really any of the Ori games, but Ori and the Will of the Wisps is really great. Also played some Animal Crossing. Not a whole lot, just a little bit to check out some of the new stuff. Made another Perfect Snowman, so I think that makes like 2 for me. But that was exciting. And then, of course, played some Rocket League. I haven't been playing as much Rocket League lately, but played it a little bit on Switch and PS4. And every time I jump to another console, I realize how not great the graphics on the Switch are. It's okay until you jump on PS4 or Xbox and you realize, wow, this is what it could look like. And it always makes me want like a high-powered gaming PC to play it at like 240 frames per second or something. But yeah, that's not going to be happening. And then let's see. Also played some Spider-Man on PS4. So speaking of Spider-Man, or speaking of PS4, finally played Spider-Man, which is like 3 years old now, maybe even 4 years old. But finally got a hold of that game for Christmas, and was able to start playing it the other day after I finished up Ori. And yeah, exactly what I thought was going to happen. The story itself has totally went to the side, and I went after collectibles. And I'm only just a little bit into the story itself because I totally got caught up going and fixing all the antenna, making sure they're all unscrambled and everything, collected all the backpacks, because it's just so much fun to swing through New York and collect things. And took out all the little bitty crimes and stuff that were going on, and the burglars and stuff like that, and just doing your neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. And yeah, eventually I'm going to get back to the main storyline, but that's like the first couple hours of the game. I just got sucked into that sort of thing. A couple weeks ago, I forgot to tell you guys as well, I did end up playing the what's it called? Space Invaders Forever, and that sort of thing. Some of those are okay, and some of them not so okay. And the Space Invaders Forever is fun. Like the main one, I guess, that's there. The secondary mode is like not that great. It's like a multiplayer one, and if you don't have multiplayer, like people to play with you, it's not good because you're trying to take out all these aliens at the same time, and you can't do it because it's made for like 3 or 4 players to play together. And then the Arkanoid one is fun, but you have to play on your Switch turned vertically, and it's touchscreen only. And I did not know that. I was really wanting to play on the TV, and I don't know exactly why they couldn't incorporate analog control on that. I mean, it's fun, and it's cool to play that way, but I'm like, why can't I just have it on my TV and play with my Pro controller? But whatever. Or even if, put in motion controls if you have to. It was like, what is the deal here? But it was a fun game, but I just wish that they would have incorporated that. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Looks like chat, you guys have been talking as well. JC says at least the video animations he thought was outstanding. Gameplay isn't cutting edge, but having so much fun. Like the Balan bouts, so intense. I was on the edge of my seat for the rhythm part. And Jakester says, Barry, I feel like we're shot in the heart after we played the demo. So, yeah. So,
pretty accurate.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward kind of to trying it out, mostly just to see what you guys have experienced, and we'll see what I think next week. Greg, you haven't got a chance to check out the demo yet either?
No, I'm not huge into just picking up random demos, but this one sounds like it needs my attention to just either confirm or deny various findings.
Yeah.
I hope you both enjoy it. I hope you come back and say, Barry, you're stupid. This game is fantastic. Because I want you guys to enjoy it.
Hey, if not, we can just all rant together.
There you go.
It sounds like something I would be annoyed by. I'm just going to say that. It sounds like I'm going to be on your side, Barry.
You never know till you play it, like I said.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's time to move into some news. Before we do that, just one quick reminder. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell on YouTube. Make sure you share this with other people. If you like what you're watching here on YouTube, hit that like button. That helps us a ton as well. And if you are listening after the fact on your podcast app of choice, we would love for you guys to leave a positive review. Maybe there's just a way to kind of leave a comment or a review or something like that. That just helps us a huge amount as well for others that are looking for Nintendo content. That's just a big way for you guys to help us out in that way. But let's move over to the news, and the big story this week is that Nintendo has released their uh, their fiscal numbers for October through December. And what we found out is that the Nintendo Switch now has surpassed the Nintendo 3DS in terms of overall sales. So we got the numbers from October through December, so that's not including the numbers through January. So that's another milestone that they may be hitting pretty soon. But yeah, they have now sold almost 80 million units for the Nintendo Switch, which, like I said, makes them surpass the surpass the 3DS, and who was at 75 million units, almost 76 million units. And the next milestone would be the Game Boy Advance, which was at 81.51 million, which is not very far off. Probably going to see that surpassing the GBA pretty soon. But that includes both the traditional Switch, the Switch Lite, it keeps going up. Sales keep going up and up, in spite of the fact that it is now not the quote unquote current generation hardware. It's current gen, I guess, for Nintendo, but Microsoft and PlayStation have moved well beyond them. But Nintendo Switch keeps plugging ahead, and takes out the 3DS. That's pretty huge. Greg, what do you think about this milestone for Nintendo?
I think that's definitely well deserved. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's tons of excellent games on the 3DS, but I think it's definitely well earned because there's probably even more games on the Switch that I've enjoyed much more, and you have the better visuals. And I feel like there's not like the normal gimmick that is tied to most Nintendo consoles. There's no 3D slider. There's not some sort of dual screen mechanic or anything like that of those previous systems. I mean, obviously their gimmick is more the hybrid thing, but I think that's something else entirely and not necessarily a gimmick. But I definitely think it's very well deserved and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah. Barry, did you I know we kind of had speculations at previous times. I think we all kind of expected this to happen. How soon are they going to pass up the GBA? Is it going to be the next quarter?
Probably has already passed it up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is great news. This is really great for Nintendo. Anytime that a system is selling and or any product is selling, it's a good thing. It's what's interesting is the Switch and the way the Switch is selling. It's selling really well, but there's one factor that I'm kind of curious about, and that is the rate of sales. Is it reflective of the fact that it's only Nintendo's only console? Like the 3DS sold alongside the Wii and then the Wii U. Granted, we can say the Wii U didn't really sell well, but still, it wasn't Nintendo's only console, and Nintendo at the time was developing software for two systems, whether it be the Wii and the 3DS or the Wii U and the 3DS, where now all software is developed just for the Switch, and some later 3DS games were actually ported to the Switch, like Sushi Strikers, and Captain Toad was a Wii U port, but it came to both systems and stuff like that. I'm happy that it's selling this well. I hope it continues to sell this well. There will be a lead into something we're going to talk about a little bit later, where I'll touch back on. I also don't want to go into it just yet, but the Switch beating the 3DS, it's not really that big of a deal, because if the Switch didn't beat the 3DS, we were really in trouble. Because if you look at the last generation, the 3DS and the Wii U combined was almost 90 million. Mm-hmm. So if the Switch couldn't hit those numbers, then it's a downward trend for Nintendo. The Switch has to break 90 million to bring it back to an upward trend, and I think it's absolutely going to do that. But yeah, what I want to see, beating the Wii is going to be a big thing. but even better than that, beating the PS4. Because if the Switch can beat the PS4, I don't expect it to touch the DS. I don't expect it to touch the PS2. But if the Switch can beat the PS4, I think that would be huge. The PS4 has a obvious jump on it, and Sony has stated that they're going to continue to support the PS4 for probably at least another year and a half from this point. So, and then I think it's sitting at like 114 million or something like that, the PS4. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the Switch can do that, and if it does, will it be in a shorter amount of time, or will we see the Switch continue long into the twilight in the sense of after a successor, they'll keep developing for the Switch. So I'm interested to see what they do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's a really important thing to remember. Yeah, that the Switch is all they have right now, and it's cool that it is surpassing some handheld consoles, because that has traditionally been like Nintendo's kind of bread and butter the last several years. Is like their handhelds have been selling really well. The home consoles kind of been hit or miss depending on which generation. So yeah. It's interesting to see, what happens when all they have is this hybrid kind of console, and what's that mean for the future? Are they going to continue to go this direction? Are they going to eventually split it out again? All these different things. Greg, what do you think the future looks like, or when is the Switch going to kind of slow down? Is it going to hit 100,000 maybe by the end of this year, or sorry, 100 million,
100 million.
By the end of this year. Thinking the Wii U, is it going to hit 100 million, or is eventually Xbox Series X and PS5 going to eventually start taking over, and that's where people are going to gravitate toward, or whatever Nintendo has next?
I think I have to leave it up to Nintendo if they're going to try to butcher their own sales, if they're going to announce like a Pro Edition. I think that could kind of deter it from making it. I think if they hold off on the Pro for this year, then perhaps it should be pretty easily to hit 100. I know everyone wants the Pro to come out, but then they'd be kind of cannibalizing the people that already purchased the initial model. Especially if they're doing like exclusive games for it, like they did with the new 3DS XL kind of scenario. So I've seen some like developer reports, and it's kind of harder to develop a game that's compatible with both a lower spec system and a higher spec system. So that can kind of also hurt the quality of the games, and that could really, in my eyes, I could see it kind of slowing down the momentum a little bit, despite a lot of people being happy and easily upgrading their Switch. So yeah. I do think that 100 million should be possible, and especially around by next Christmas time. I think they've caught that casual gamers kind of back with Animal Crossing, with a lot of the fame from celebrities and everything. So I think it's probably just going to continue to kind of roll forward as more people wish to join in on and play Animal Crossing for the first time. I think that's a big key factor of the Switch sales for at least over the last year.
Yeah,
it's exponential growth. So
yeah, it's been really interesting too. The effect that COVID has had on the gaming industry as well. And I wonder if we didn't have this pandemic that has opened a lot of people's eyes to video games and the importance of playing video games when you're stuck at home with nothing else to do. It's a really good form of entertainment. I wonder if Nintendo wouldn't be as high as it is now. I think the Switch has a life, it has legs beyond what we're seeing now and everything too. But numbers have stayed high throughout this whole time, and I think possibly the pandemic has a little bit to blame for that, for keeping people into it and not moving on to something else. They're really enjoying their Animal Crossings and other things like that. Yeah, it seems like the chat is thinking that it might eventually pass the Game Boy, which also includes, like Barry mentioned in the chat as well, includes Game Boy and Game Boy Color together at 118 million. That seems like a pretty good thing. I feel like it may land. I don't know. This is totally a shot in the dark, but I feel we may see it land somewhere around 120, maybe 125 near the end. What do you think, Barry?
You know what? I think it can beat that. 120 seems like a safe bet, safe when all is said and done. But that all depends on what Nintendo does going forward in terms of new system or not, or like releasing a new system or just leaving as is when their new system is eventually released, and the support for older system. You know, like if Nintendo does what Nintendo usually does and kill their previous system months before their new one comes out, then the Switch is going to teeter off. If they pull something like they did back in the NES days, where the NES was supported into like 93 or something like that, a couple of years after the SNES even came out, then yeah, I could see it continuing and hitting that 120 million mark. Yeah. That would be cool. I'd like to see them hit that.
That'd be really cool. Yeah. But kind of jumping stories here. Sorry for Greg and Barry. It made more sense to kind of let's move this story up because it's connection to what we've been just talking about. Reggie, who has been retired from Nintendo, all of a sudden had some stuff to say about the Switch and the Wii U, especially in connection to each other. Barry, fill us in what Reggie had to say about all this.
Yeah, you throw a curveball at me.
Sorry
right
about
there.
that. Yeah.
So Reggie was on a panel, the New York Gaming's Award. They had a Twitch stream, and he talked about his achievements at Nintendo, and one of the things that he did talk about was the lackluster sales of the poor Wii U. He said, and this is a direct quote, Nintendo has done so many innovations in the space. I think what Nintendo did with the Switch after the poor performance of Wii U, I think to me, and what I was part of, that's my lasting memory. People forget that when the Wii U launched, the performance over the life cycle was so poor. I mean, it was the worst selling platform. I think maybe Virtual Boy was a little worse. Shots fired. But Wii U, that wasn't part of the quote, that was me. But Wii U underperformed pretty radically in the marketplace. And when our business in video games, that next had to be successful. And the Switch continues to be a dynamic platform, selling exceptionally well, and the ability for the company to come up with this concept, to bring it to life, to bring it to the marketplace, to have not only great first-party content, but great third-party and independent developer content. This is going to be something I will always be proud of. And, he says some good points. You look at Microsoft, you look at Sony, they have their business in other avenues. Microsoft is exceptionally well off with the PC and their technology. Sony is becoming more and more a video game company, but they do have other divisions, their TV, stereos, stuff like that. They own Blu-ray, so Blu-ray movies. So Sony has other avenues. Nintendo has video games right now, and that's it. They used to be a toy company. They still occasionally make cards, but really their money is in their IP. So with the Wii U being such a failure, and we talked about it, but the 3DS really kept Nintendo afloat, or at least in terms of relevancy. If the Switch was a second Wii U, was another follow-up failure, there is a chance Nintendo would have went third party. I mean, a lot of people wanted to see that, and it very well could have been a thing. But I think the Switch has pretty much encouraged them to keep going the console route. Again, console manufacturers do make money for every game sold, not just their own games. So it is a very lucrative business, provided you could sell consoles and you can sell games. You look at the attach rate for the Wii, even though the Wii sold really well, the attach rate was abysmal because most people bought the Wii and just played Wii Sports. I think that was it. Wii Play. And the only reason Wii Play was like the number 2 game is because it came with a controller at a good time. It came with an extra Wiimote. So people bought Wii Play for $10. The Wii U's attach rate was also abysmal because the Wii U's sale rate was abysmal. The Switch, we're actually seeing a great attach rate. In fact, early on, Breath of the Wild was was sold more than there were Switch units because people couldn't get Switch units and just bought Breath of the Wild to hold on to. So I think we're seeing a definite change in sales over the past even 2 generations, despite the Wii's success. If it keeps going forward, great. But this was really a Hail Mary. This had to succeed for them to, not for Nintendo to go out of business, because they wouldn't have, for them to continue going down the path they're going down. If this changed again, they could have went third party, they could have sold their IP or used their IP in other avenues, which they're kind of doing now as well. Who knows? But we're not living in that timeline. We're living in the timeline where Switch did do really well and is continuing to do well. So we'll see where the future goes.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's interesting to see Reggie now, who's a little more free, to make comments like this and to just tell it how it is, because he was, as the president of Nintendo of America, kind of maybe keeping things, I gotta support my company and be a good face for them and everything, and not that he's saying bad things about it, but he's just being more real now. And I think that's interesting to see, his thoughts around this and hear just how much he thought, being one of the head honchos at Nintendo, to say, yeah, we didn't do so well with the Wii U. We can admit that, and yeah, it was kind of a make or break sort of thing when we launched the Switch. Greg, what do you think of Reggie's thoughts and the future of the potential future of Nintendo?
Yeah, I think it was really nice to see, hear his side of it and how genuine and honest what you guys were saying. It just obviously it makes complete sense. I mean, I think everyone knew that the Wii U was a complete bust, and didn't seem like Nintendo really thought that, or at least really was really identifying that all the time. So obviously that was kind of more to save face and those kind of things, and just to try to stay positive through all of that. In terms through the future, I would love to see a successor that also utilizes both playing at home and on the go. I think that is the perfect balance for everybody. So, I mean, I've said numerous times on the podcast, the Switch was primarily a handheld system for me for the first 2-3 years of it. And then since COVID, it's complete 180, and now I'm primarily always playing on the TV. So it's very great to have that flexibility, and I really hope they continue down that route and not just isolate to be TV only versus handheld only. I would really enjoy another console that can be played anywhere.
Yeah. I'm glad they took this, this swing, because I think it turned out very well for them. Not only just numbers, but I think it's a really good system, and hopefully something they can build upon. I think we've all kind of agreed in the past about how we do enjoy the style that they went for in this hybrid kind of system. Of course, improvements that we would like to see for sure, but this style of a console really does work. And, once we eventually do get back, to being able to travel again and things like that, more of us can enjoy the other side of the Switch, because I think more of us have probably switched to a home console, primarily home console Switch right now. But there is this huge advantage of being able to just grab it and take it with you where you go and still play those great games on the go. So maybe eventually we'll get to do that again. but yeah, for now, still rumors about Switch Pro, Switch 2, whatever. We'll we said we'll get into just a little bit about that here later. Kind of a small update that has been tossed around from that, but for now, we'll focus on what we do have, and there's a big game coming out in just a few days that we found out some kind of the last little details about right after the podcast last week. Greg, tell us about the newest details for Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury.
All right, so some different outlets obviously got their review copies, and unfortunately we did not get one. I haven't even heard back from our contact, but that aside.
Speaking of shots fired.
We want your game soon, Nintendo. Okay. All right. So on to Bowser's Fury. So GamesBeat had reported it took about 3 hours to beat Bowser's Fury, and it takes another 3 hours to unlock all 100 cat shines. The Bowser's Fury mode all takes place in one gigantic world. Within the large world, there's smaller subsections which are like individual stages. So they just all exist in the same open space, and many of them are islands around the big lake. Each of these areas hosts a handful of unlockable cat shines. You can earn each of them by completing an objective. So it's like an example was to complete a linear obstacle course. There are some of those cat shines that are more hidden and require to collect multiple items to unlock, similar to like the red coin challenges from Super Mario 64. And some only become accessible if like the Fury Bowser blasts like the wall open or object or whatever with his fire breath. They had already announced that previously, though. There's plenty of cat shines hidden away in like watery areas in between the stages. Fury Bowser cannot be damaged unless you've collected enough cat shines to turn into the giant Giga Cat Mario. Otherwise, he'll just have to dodge his attacks until you collect a cat shine or he tires himself out. Some of the cat shines are only accessible while Fury Bowser is out. You can use the Switch's touchscreen, or if you're playing on the TV, the controller's gyro controls to point and click Bowser Jr. toward power-ups, and he can unlock with his magical brush. It says it kind of works to the pointer system in Super Mario Galaxy as a part of 3D All-Stars. GamesBeat was also saying this is the largest open space that Mario has ever had to run around in. So I guess that's something too. I guess like a Breath of the Wild kind of nod. You can use amiibos just like 3D World. You just need to hold the left of the D-pad until the amiibo symbol comes up and then scan one. Using the Bowser amiibo will wake Fury Bowser from his slumber. Bowser Jr. lets you unleash an explosion of sorts. You can't just continually use the amiibos. There's a cooldown, and then a lot of the other amiibos just summon random power-ups. So I know like the Cat Mario and Cat Peach also do something specific, but those aren't quite out yet. So I don't know what you guys think about all this information. Do you think it's still justified the price tag if it's about 6 hours of content? I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I think it's I'm glad they've added more content. I'll just say I kind of wish it was more, and I know like in Discord we were chatting, and I think Barry, you said that it was more than you expected, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like I was hoping for more, but at the same time like expected. I get what you're saying, but I was hoping for more than 3 hours, I guess. But you know what? If it's a game that we already got, would normally maybe, in the real world, hopefully cost $50 instead of $60. For an extra $10, you get this Bowser's Fury mode. I think that's pretty cool. I think. I don't know how much I'm going to really enjoy the idea of it. I think I like the idea of what it could be more than what it actually ended up, if that makes sense. I like the idea of it being more open world, and like there's a lot of potential there, but it seems like they hit a triple instead of a home run. Like this could have been just a little bit more, to be able to, to actually like explore more and that sort of thing, but it just seems like this repetitive kind of thing that I actually might get tired of after 3 hours. So maybe it's a good thing that it's only 3 hours. I don't know. Barry, what do you think?
If this was a standalone game, I would say this is kind of shocking in a bad way, but it's one of those where it's not a standalone. It's just an addition to a game. They could have easily just given us Mario 3D World Deluxe and added an extra character and called it a day, or new funky mode and called it a day. I mean, this is a Wii U port, or a Wii U enhanced port, if you will, and the base game is already fantastic. The fact that they added on a 3 to 6 hour new adventure with a whole new setting, new mechanics. Uh, that's awesome to me. I mean, it's additional. If you have never played 3D World, this is a no-brainer. 3D World is an excellent game. This is an excellent addition. I'm not sure if I'm going to do 3D World again, but I am very much still looking forward to this. And like Steve said, maybe some parts of it might get a little repetitive, and 3 to 6 hours is more than enough. But whenever I play these type of Mario games, I I often, I mean, I get frustrated from time to time, but I often have a smile on my face the entire time. So if I'm going to play a game for 3 to 6 hours and have a smile on my face the entire time, then you know what? That's great. I played Uncharted 1, and that took me about, 8 hours, 7, 8 hours, and I did not have a smile on my face the entire time. In fact, I got downright angry at times. So the polar opposite could happen. And I'm not saying this game I'm gonna have a smile on my face the entire time, but often I do. So I'll take a 3 to 6 hour adventure that I'm enjoying versus a 3 to 6 hour adventure that I hate. And coming from an RPG gamer, someone who plays 40, 50, 60, 80 hour games, sometimes it's nice just to play a 3 to 6 hour adventure and put it down and go, you know what? I accomplished that. Cool. All right. That was a fun, palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. And like we do need some of those adventures sometime. Greg, anything stand out to you from this last little bit of information?
I am kind of looking forward to doing the 100% route if it's only about 6 hours to do. So that seems like it should be very manageable to do, especially since the main game of 3D World is very hard to 100% because you're going through every level with every character, and then you got that awesome Champions Road Gauntlet challenge at the very end, which I can't have beaten. So,
yeah, nice. Well, going from one game that is coming out really soon to another franchise that Nintendo officially owns. Tell us about this, Barry. What has Nintendo recently bought?
Yeah. Well, we don't know all the details, but in a previous interview with Platinum Games, they indicated that the Astral Chain IP was co-owned by them and by Nintendo, the publisher. And now in 2021, fans had noticed that on the Astral Chain website, it no longer lists Platinum Games in the copyright information. And there was an interview with Video Games Chronicle where the studio head was asked, and he replied in direct quote, "It's as it looks. It's as it is written on the website. Astral Chain is their IP, and as such, there are limitations on how much we feel we should talk about." So Nintendo seems to now fully own the Astral Chain IP. What does this mean? It could mean a myriad of things. It could be there might be something in their contract where Nintendo publishes the game, and if the game sells above a certain threshold, Nintendo then fully takes control of the IP. And if it underperforms, like Wonderful 101, maybe it stays joint. Who knows? It could be one of those things where Nintendo is looking into negotiating with buying Platinum, and there's no reason to have both copyrights there. It could just all go under the Nintendo umbrella. It could also mean the exact opposite. It could be that maybe Nintendo and Platinum are going their separate ways and they're not going to be working as well together anymore. And Nintendo says, all right, well, then we want the freedom to do what we want with this IP. So it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, or it could just be meh. I mean, it's all speculation at this point. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any bad blood between the two companies because they've seemed to get along well, and obviously Bayonetta 3 is still going on. But it should be interesting to see going forward.
Yeah. Greg, it seems like it's almost like the quote there is like is as it is. Like, how do you read that? Does it seem like there's like some tension there, or he's just like, hey, you know what, this is as it is, and no, moving on. Like, what do you think the I mean, maybe you probably have no idea, but what do you think the future is between Nintendo and Platinum based on this?
That's just kind of an interesting way to be putting it. So it's like saying like it almost like it is as it is. It's like I think Platinum was almost sounds like they wanted to maintain control of the IP, but then it's maybe something as Barry said, it's now officially like Nintendo's IP due to some sort of sales number thing, or just Nintendo's like publishing rights or whatever. So kind of sounds like they're not happy about it. So I really hope that it doesn't lead to any other ill tensions between Platinum and Nintendo. It certainly could be, as Barry was just mentioning, it could be that Nintendo will be offered to buy Platinum games too. So who really knows what that kind of direction can go there? So
Yeah.
I guess we won't know until there's more information about that, or if anything else comes up, if there's going to be a sequel or whatever about the game.
Yeah. Maybe my prediction will come through, and Nintendo will actually buy Platinum. Maybe this is the first sign to pointing to that. Barry, I know you played Astral Chain and you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Is this good that Nintendo now owns it?
Yeah. Maybe this could even be something for Smash Brothers, because now we can get Akira in there. But yeah, honestly, Astral Chain is one of those games you should play. Like, it's just a really cool action game. Definitely has little getting used to with the controls once you get multiple of the beasts. I forget what they're officially called. But yeah, the story is cool. The world is very cool. The whole police and detective and going into alternate worlds, like, there's just a lot to this game, and there's a lot they can do with the story going forward. Hopefully this isn't like an Eternal Darkness situation where Nintendo just sits on it and does nothing, and they actually do something with Astral Chain. It did sell very well, and who knows?
Yeah. Be interesting for sure. Greg, any further thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool if Nintendo would have them develop a sequel. I mean, and we can also maybe get some more information on what's going on with like the IP and whose IP it really is and anything like that.
Yeah. Maybe it's their way of, you know what, we need to focus on Bayonetta, so you can have Astral Chain.
Well, I think Astral Chain was one of those games where they wanted to make it, and Nintendo was just like, make the game you want, we'll fund it. So
that's cool.
And that could be maybe where he's a little bitter too, because it was his baby kind of deal.
Yeah. That does make sense. Yeah. Well, those are our big stories for this week, but we got some few headlines to run through. And to start us off, Greg, tell us a little about this update that Nintendo has recently made.
Yeah, so I think there's going around on Twitter. It shows that Nintendo's been using this like 20-year-old NEX service for like the online multiplayer. So the Wii U and the 3DS obviously were using it, and it's been how the games have been made on the server. So it's almost all the games have been tied to it for online functionality, and the company is looking to make major changes. So so I guess even though it's 20 years old, Nintendo was only using it for 10 years, and then they're looking to move on to another system, the NPLN. So Monster Hunter Rise should be the first title to make use of it, and that's pretty much all there is. Hopefully there's better online play and things can smooth out for a lot of the existing games. Very smooth transition.
Cool.
So we talked a little bit about the Switch Pro, and it seems during this investor meeting and during this financial call, the president of Nintendo has stated that they have no announcement at this time. They're not planning on making any announcements anytime soon, and they're focusing instead on the Mario Edition Switch and the Monster Hunter Bundle Switch. And what does this mean? It just means that they're not going to talk about it now because they don't want to cannibalize their own sales. This does not mean the Switch Pro is happening this year or isn't happening this year. It's all speculation.
If you are a big fan of Nintendo and also Burger King, you need to head over there because you can actually get some Nintendo themed toys in your kids' meal, or just buy them outright until March 15th. So there's a platinum or silver Mario Kart there, a link to the past. Sorry, not a link to the past. A link between Link's Awakening. Wow, I didn't realize I was getting so confused on these different Link games. Link's Awakening toy, an Animal Crossing, Mario in his builder creator costume, Splatoon, and also a Luigi's Mansion toy there at Burger King. So grab them while you can. You get until March 15th.
Jumping back into some more sales information, Pikmin 3 has just now become the best-selling Pikmin game of all time in Japan. So worldwide sales are at 1.94 million. The previous record was original Pikmin on GameCube with 502,996. So great job, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Definitely well earned, in my opinion.
Back last year in the summer when E3 would have happened, we had a showcase from EA. Now, this showcase was actually kind of surprising because EA did actually talk about Switch games. And one of those games, which was kind of leaked before the presentation, was Apex Legends. And people have been speculating, when is Apex Legends coming? And now we can tell you Apex Legends will bring to the Switch on March 9th of this year. Apex Legends was developed by Titanfall and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order developer Respawn Entertainment, but this port is actually the help of the one and only Panic Button.
Nice. Well, we also found out that Mario Party, the Mario Party series, has now surpassed 50 million units in sales. The Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch has just surpassed 3.72 million sales, for the quarter, and is now at 13.82 million sales worldwide overall. And that takes the entire series up to over 50 million, where Super Mario Party, which was released in 2018, is the top-selling Mario Party game at 13.82 million. And the next two down the list to round at the top three is Mario Party DS at 9.31 million and Mario Party 8 at 8.85 million. If you want to see the entire list, that's on our website at NintendoFuse.com.
Just a really brief update. I did mention about there's a Faye channel for Fire Emblem Heroes that was celebrating their 4th anniversary. So pretty much a lot of the stuff is ongoing or just started today and will be going through the end of the month. So they're continuing on giving everyone a free summon, a 5-star unit from the last year's special heroes, all the ones in different costumes. They're also moving on with the Hero Rises 2021, where fans can vote in their favorite unit, and then all the top 8 will go head-to-head in a voting gauntlet event at the end of February. There's dozens and numerous quests and events for lots of the different materials you need to make, like new new character weapons and summoning heroes and whatnot with the Grails. And then the biggest change of all was they announced some summoning event changes. So all the year 1 and year 2 hero, 5-star heroes that were there at the beginning of the game are now going to be part of a 4-star special rate thing, and they will not change your rate if you summon one of these as one of these older 5-star units. So that will be starting on the first Hero Fest banner that comes out on February 4th. So just tune into the game, or you can watch the video on YouTube just if you want more information on that.
Nice. So lots of
stuff. I'm actually going to jump in here quickly.
Go ahead.
Hold on, Steve. There's another
breaking
headline. Breaking news. We're going to do another quick headline to throw in here. Nintendo has, out of nowhere, announced a brand new show that they're going to apparently be doing every month on their YouTube. We've been dying for Nintendo Directs, They know we want the newest information. We're not getting Nintendo Directs. Instead, we're getting Nintendo Monthly Rewind, where Nintendo is actually taking all the news of the previous month and putting it into a less than 5-minute video looking or mocked like a Nintendo Direct. This one talking about like new Pokemon Snap and Bowser's Fury and Monster Hunter Rise. They even tackle mobile stuff like Mario Kart Tour and Dragalia Lost, as well as other stuff like Scott Pilgrim and other smaller games, Fitness Boxing 2. Really interesting idea. I think it's a good idea. But I'd rather have all the news in one place in a Nintendo Direct than have them randomly drop these random articles and these news tidbits throughout a month, and then boom, here's the recap at the end. But I had no idea they were doing this. I just discovered this. It was just like, wait, what? This is happening? Like this is weird that Nintendo is doing this and going about it. But what do you guys think about this new format of delivering news after the fact?
Yeah. Greg, I'll let you go first on this.
It's certainly an interesting take that they're just almost rewinding, I guess, their own news that they've released over the month. So I guess it's kind of nice just to see a full like mock of like everything that's gone on in the last month. So it almost makes it a little bit easier for us to like be able to sum up all their
Yeah, it definitely. I thought my camera was going to freeze for a second there. It actually did, but we're back. I think it's been interesting. Like they seem, it doesn't surprise me actually, because it seems like it falls suit in a lot of what they've been doing lately. Is they've kind of started to jump on the journalism side of things at least, and started producing their own content to kind of recap what's been going on. They've been doing like the monthly download as well, which kind of recaps all the big games that have been available to download for the last month. That's kind of a monthly video that they do as well, and I think a couple other things here and there that they're always kind of playing catch up. Like, hey, if you missed this, here's some information about that sort of thing. And I mean, I don't mind it at all. I think it's fine. I think it matches a lot of other outlets that are doing. I think Marvel does a regular show like that kind of covers the things that you may have missed, and Disney probably does the same thing, and a lot of companies do that sort of thing. But I hope that we're still going to get the breaking news at the moment too. I want, that's fine. Like sometimes you need those recaps, and that's cool that they're putting them out, but let's not miss the Nintendo Directs, like in light of this. Like I'd rather have Nintendo Direct rather than kind of just slide stuff out and like, well, we recapped it for you. Wasn't that cool enough? Like, no, make it a big deal when you first, release it. Don't just put out a press release and then, recap it at the end of the month.
Well, here's something. If they're going to be doing this every month, they have to have something to talk about. So does that mean every month we're actually going to get Nintendo news, enough of it to warrant a recap?
Good point. Maybe start telling our fans what's going on. So we're going to need you to start pumping out the information so we actually have some content to tell them. I don't know. But that's maybe in an ideal world, that's how it all went down. But I doubt it. I don't know.
Especially since a lot of their stuff they just like to shadow drop. It's just a random announcement on Twitter, like, oh, by the way, Paper Mario Origami King is a game that's coming out on Nintendo Switch.
Right.
So not everyone's going to catch some random tweet. I mean, obviously, a lot of news outlets like us should try to pick up on it, or it'd be nice that they don't just like shadow drop something and just throw it in the rewind thing like a day later. So it'd be nice to have more information sooner and not just having, hopefully nothing that's just becomes exclusive to this rewind thing either.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Well, we are almost done, but we're not quite done yet. We're going to talk about what games are coming up over the next week until our next podcast, which would be February 9th. By the way, hey, it's February 2nd today. Happy Groundhog Day. I guess we have 6 more weeks of winter And it was funny. I have a friend who is not originally from the United States, and I was talking to him today, and he's like, "What is Groundhog Day?" I was like, I don't think I've ever had to explain Groundhog Day to anyone. And as I'm explaining it, I'm realizing just how ridiculous it really is.
It's a Bill Murray movie. It's
Yeah.
the day we all celebrate a Bill Murray movie.
Yes, for sure. But happy Groundhog Day, everybody. And while you're celebrating Groundhog Day, be sure to subscribe to us, hit that bell to be alerted every time we post a new video here on YouTube. And be sure to hit the like button if you like what you see here. If you're listening after the fact on your podcast apps or services, be sure to subscribe on there too. And leave us a positive comment, review. That'd be huge. And also share this with other Nintendo fans. We'd love to just continue to grow in this community and helping more people find this podcast. But looking ahead to what is going to be coming out over this next week. We have a little game that's going to be coming out in just beyond a week with Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury. But yeah, looking over the next week, there's a few games. If you're watching the video version, we're going to scroll them on the screen here. But yeah, nothing that really stands out to me. One cool game is that we get Skyforge, I guess, because that's free. That's coming out on February 4th, so just a couple days from now. So, anytime we see a free game or a free-to-play game on the Switch eShop, that's kind of cool to experience because, hey, it's free. Why not check it out? But yeah, I think there's several games on here that seems like they're very, very indie or very maybe like mobile games that they're bringing over to the Switch, things like that. But there also seems like there's going to be several RPGs that are going to be coming out. So yeah, what are you guys looking forward to playing over this next week? Maybe it's one of these games, or maybe it's something entirely different. Like Ease, Barry. I know you're hoping to play that. So what else? Are you gonna be playing anything but Ease?
Ease is going to be my main focus, other than Final Fantasy 14. Those two, between the amount of content that just dropped today in 14, which is going to be somewhat of a grind, so that's going to take a lot of time. And then Ease 9, which, like I said, I just started. Like, I just in Chapter 1, I did the prologue, and it's already like just playing a new Ease game just has me so excited because I love action RPGs. And I'm just excited to see where this goes. I've heard nothing but great things, so that is going to be my main focus, in addition to the Dragalia and Mario Kart. But maybe I'll throw in a game here or there and surprise everybody. Who knows?
Cool. Greg, how about you?
It'll mostly be the backlog. I'm surprised you didn't bring up your favorite game, the urban street style fighting. I know how much.
I thought you were going to be talking about My
yes.
Universe Pet Clinic Cats and Dogs.
I don't know
Maybe
about
that's
that
Hudson's. That's Hudson's favorite franchise. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll probably mostly just continue with Pikmin 3 and stuff like that. I only have it for a few weeks because we got it from the library. So
Nice. Yeah, I may check out the Skyforge game at some point because, like I said, it is free. But I'll be spending some more time in Spider-Man this next week, and the weekend especially is going to be really busy for me. I got other things going on that's going to unfortunately take me away from video games and things like that as much. So yeah, there's a good chance that next week rolls around and I may not have had that much time to play, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of games I get in. Definitely not going to be brand new games. Kind of looking to go in the backlog and do a few of those games before Bowser's Fury does come out, because I will be end up picking it up because of Bowser's Fury. Like, I played it on Wii U, loved it on Wii U, but because they threw in the extra game, I'll be double dipping or whatever this time and repurchasing it in order to check out the new content. But that's after our next podcast, so we'll come talk about that in a couple weeks. We'll be able to talk about our experience with that game. But it's time to officially wrap it up, and not like 10 minutes ago when my computer thought it was time to wrap it up. Now it actually is time to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the NintendoFuse Podcast. We'll be back and again next week on February 9th. Join us live for the recording of episode 221. Until that time, you guys have any closing thoughts? Anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up? Barry, you got anything?
Just stay safe, stay warm, stay inside, and play some great games.
Yeah. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I know we don't get those nor'easters over here, but I know we're going to be getting some nice low wind chills, so it'd be great to stay inside and also just enjoy playing some games still. So thankfully it's still winter, and that's usually the fun times to be staying inside to play some games.
Yeah.
I'm going to mail you some snow, Greg, so you can be a part of the Nor'easter Club too.
There you go.
We already have like a foot of snow outside over from last weekend.
Oh, only a foot?
It's like only a
we
foot,
just got over 2 feet in a day.
Yeah. I miss those days. I do.
Oh God.
Like there's a level of like, it is annoying, but at the same time I miss being snowed in. Like I miss like the world just like shutting down because like there's nothing else to do. I mean, of course we got pandemic. It's done this for the last 10 months to us. But yeah, there's sometimes, life is just busy and you're like, hey, you know what? You can't go anywhere because there's 3 foot of snow outside. So stay in, cozy up with, a cup of coffee or hot cocoa, watch a movie, play some video games, and just enjoy it.
You're not right in the head.
Well, maybe not, but
there was a cure. The cure is playing Xenoblade 2.
Maybe that's what I need. That's why I haven't played it. I need a nor'easter or maybe snowed in to do that. Even though people think that there's a lot of snow in Colorado, there's not so much. I need a nor'easter to keep me in to play Xenoblade.
God, I hope you get your wish. God, I hope you get your wish.
Maybe we're supposed to actually get snow this weekend, so we'll see. Well, guys, it's been awesome talking with you guys as always, and we will see you on episode 221. Until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
Talk to you guys later.